welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show that separates the truth from the twaddle. On David Mitchell's team tonight, an actor who recently hosted Channel 4's Fake News, a panel show all about lying. It'll never work. It's Stephen Mangan. And an actress whose award-winning stage and screen work spans an incredible 60 years. I'm so sorry it's come to this. It's Sheila Hancock. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, she's a roving reporter for The One Show, where her hard-hitting reports saw her visit all 19 of Britain's pencil museums. It's Anita Rani. And the star of Catastrophe, Line of Duty and Shetland. It's Mark Bonner. We begin, as always, with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Sheila, you're first up tonight.
Oh. I keep a spare front door key on my cat's collar. If I ever get locked out, I simply call my cat and he comes to my rescue.
Please, T.
Wow.
What's the name of your cat, Sheila?
Stanley.
Could you do the call? How do you call Stanley?
What's it, chicken? Surely that's how he calls you.
That's what Stanley's... I was confusing because when he wanted to come in, I didn't have a cat flap, and I would do the intercom and say, "Are you there, Stanley?" And he'd go, "Meow."
So you haven't got a cat flap?
I haven't got a cat flap, no.
You haven't got a cat flap, and the spare key is round his neck.
Yeah.
What happens if you come and he's in the house?
He doesn't have them on when he's in the house.
Oh, he takes them off, does he, when he comes in?
I take them
Does
off.
he take it off and hide it under the brick for you?
I take them off when it's in the house, because it jingles.
So do you put him out every time you leave the house?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Are you not worried about burglars? Like, seeing the key around your cat's neck and then using him like a key ring and just...
This
key's not working!
No, it's in a metal case. It looks almost like a whistle or something.
Oh, I
and you
see.
just pull it out, and then inside there's a key.
Does he also wear one of those medallions with his address on it?
No, he's got a chip. He's got a chip inside him.
Oh,
he doesn't need anyone to bring him home with his address, because he can just come and go as he pleases with the key.
When was the last time you had to use this method?
About a fortnight ago.
What happened?
I'd forgot my key. I left it inside. It was late at night, and I'd just come back from the theatre. It was about 11 o'clock.
Oh, what had you seen? Don't say cats. What?
I'd seen Jess Butterworth's new play.
Can I just ask why you don't mortise lock your door?
Modest?
Mortise.
In my defence, my friend is saying, Mary, you're a modest lock your door. You're trying to cheer him like a day idea. Don't bring your cats down.
I don't know what a mortise lock is.
Well, you know the big lock. You unlock the big lock and then you unlock your Yale.
He wouldn't be able to have a big key round his neck.
You obviously aren't that security conscious if you've only got a Yale lock
I've
at
only
all
got
times.
a Yale lock.
I think
all
if
times.
Sheila was that security conscious, she wouldn't tie her key to her cat.
So 2 weeks ago, you went to the theatre and you got back at sort of 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
What time did you get back from the theatre? Usually about 11?
About 11,
Just
yeah.
making a note of this, I'm going to rob you.
All right, what are you going to say?
Lie.
You think it's a lie?
Lie.
Yeah.
I'm going with Mark. Lie.
I think she's too sensible to do this, Sheila.
OK.
Yeah.
You're saying it's a lie. Sheila, truth or lie?
Well, it is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Sheila doesn't keep a spare front door key on her cat's collar. Anita, you're next.
OK. The day I moved into my new house, I caused the whole street to be shut down and my neighbours' homes to be evacuated.
David.
How did you cause that?
Because we thought we'd found a grenade in the house.
You thought you'd found a grenade?
Yes.
Where did you think you'd found a grenade?
Please don't tell me it's round your cat's neck.
It was our first day in our new house and we were cleaning in the kitchen.
Where did you find the grenade?
on top of the cabinet. So it was kind of... So it was really old kitchen with low cabinets.
Yeah.
And we thought we'd found a grenade.
What did the grenade look like?
A grenade?
No, or what? Describe it.
Well, it was my husband that saw it first, and he climbed up, came down the stepladder very quickly and said, I think it's a grenade.
What you've done there is not a description of a grenade.
So then I went to have a look.
Yes.
And quickly came back down and said, yeah, it looks like a grenade.
What did it look like?
OK, it's what I imagine a grenade would look like.
And that will do.
Because I've never seen one.
My client does not want to answer any more questions.
Because I've never seen one in real life before.
And then what did you do?
We called the police. So the police woman came round to our house and she did the same thing. She went up the stepladder, looked on top of the cabinet and said, I think it's a grenade, better call Sarge. So she phoned
What is
back.
that?
Sergeant.
Oh, sorry,
you know,
I thought you
Sarge,
meant... I thought Sarge sounds like a thing like Spectre, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
Cobra.
Cobra, yes, Cobra.
Yeah.
You thought it was an acronym?
Yes, I thought... Yes, well done.
Can I just
Special.
No, you don't expect that, so credit where it's due.
Did anybody ask whether the pin was still in the grenade?
So at this stage, we're still trying to find out what it is. So the policewoman
Sarge come yet?
So
Sarge? Is that an acronym?
No, it's not an acronym. It's a shortening of sergeant.
So then Sarge has
Thank
turned
goodness
up.
they didn't call for the constable.
The sergeant's there.
He walks in, does the same thing, up the stepladder, looks and goes, OK, think it might be a grenade. We're
I'll have to call the inspector.
No.
Then, several hours later, the Prime Minister comes in.
Nearly. At this point, he thinks, I think it might be a grenade, so he actually phones the bomb squad. So the bomb squad, really nice chap, walks into the kitchen. He walked up the stepladder, looked at it, picked it up. I went, it's a lighter. So...
He took the risk of going...
Yeah. Because they are the only people, let's be fair.
He
no
turned round with his burnt face and went, finally, one that is a lighter.
They're the only
Fifth time lucky!
That's why they do their job, because they know what a real grenade is and what a fake one is.
So, what are you thinking? Is it the truth?
What do you think, Sheila?
I'm puzzled by this one. There was a hesitation right at the very beginning while she tried to think up a story, I thought.
I think it's true because I like the detail of the policemen going out one by one and looking at it and thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this, I better get someone. And it makes a lot of sense to me that people would pass the buck down the line. I think it's true.
Right, true, lie, true, lie. Lie.
Anita, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was... true!
Yes, it's true. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, John. So, Sheila, what is John to you?
Well, this is John, and he disrupted a show I was in with an explosive attack of the hiccups.
Stephen, how do you know John?
This is John. We once spent an hour hiding from a piece of rope because we thought it was a snake.
And finally, David, what's your relationship with John?
This is John. I was the only person to attend his neighbourhood watch meeting. So we spent 10 minutes drawing a map of the road, then gave up and watched an episode of Knight Rider.
So there we have it. Lee's team, where to begin?
So we start with Sheila.
Yeah.
What was the show?
It was a musical called Grey Gardens, which I did last year at Southwark Playhouse. It's a fringe theatre, so the audience are right on top of you and you can hear everything. And at the beginning, I could hear this person sort of suppressing something, like that. And then there was a really quiet moment and he had the most terrible attack of hiccup. It was like as though he was choking almost. So eventually...
Sorry, eventually? You thought he was choking and you did something eventually?
No, I knew he wasn't choking, but he was making a choky-type noise.
OK, all right.
So I had a glass that was supposed to be whiskey, but was actually water, so I went over to him and I made him drink out the back of the glass when the audience were applauding like mad.
What was your character?
I was playing this old lady, and it's the story of these two women. They were discovered surrounded by cats and animals.
They're probably locked out.
Stanley.
I'm curious as to how long it was before you stopped the show. I mean...
Well, I let it go on for about 2-3 minutes.
And what were you doing at the time?
I was singing. I was trying to sing.
You were in the middle of a song?
Yes.
What was the song, Sheila?
So I love you, I love you. It's a song that she sings to her daughter. It's a very poignant moment. But you can't do a poignant moment with someone going...
No, I'm kind of surprised. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that John didn't take it upon himself to leave the theatre.
He was embarrassed, poor darling. He's stuck in this show.
So you thought you'll help him with his embarrassment?
I sort of
by
did.
making him drink upside down with a glass of water?
No, I knew the audience were getting really aggressive with him. As
What were they doing?
Well,
But you said
they were
they're
going
getting
shush, 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 like that to it.
But they must have known that it's an involuntary action and he's not doing it
But
deliberately.
audiences are like that. If in a lovely moment they were enjoying the show and suddenly this idiot's going...
So they go, shh, and he's going... Are you sure it wasn't like the house version of the song? It's a bit more garage.
Is that what you think house music sounds like? and I quote... Shh, shh.
I would say, of all the genres of music, although house isn't close, it's the closest, unless you can tell me what that is closer than.
I would say it's a very experimental, avant-garde, East Berlin in the early 30s. I certainly wouldn't call it house music in a desperate attempt to get down with the kids.
I don't think 1930s East German is actually a genre of music.
I'm saying...
You give me a decade and a country.
Yeah, in fact, you've also given a country that didn't exist in the decade you've given.
Well spotted. Well spotted. But you noticed that Lee didn't spot it. Right. Who would you like to quiz next?
We'll go with Stephen, shall we?
Just remind us, Stephen, just to refresh our memories.
This is John. We once spent an hour hiding from a piece of rope because we thought it was a snake.
Where were you?
We were in California.
Right. And how do you know this gentleman?
I'm related to him.
In what how?
Well, some of our relatives were, you know... we're cousins.
You're cousins?
Yeah.
OK, so you're in California.
Yeah.
And what are you camping, are you?
We're camping.
What age were you?
I was 19.
19? Oh.
Who was camping?
We were.
Just the two of you?
Just the two of you?
Just the two of us, yeah.
Yellowstone?
No, no, no.
Yosemite?
No,
Big Sur?
no.
Doesn't matter what type of snake it was. So who spotted it first?
We're in a tent, and I wake up, and we're in the woods, and it's California.
Oh, you're not a campsite, then? You're just going
Not
wild?
on a campsite, no.
OK.
And I see a snake on the roof of the tent.
So you saw the shadow, the
saw
silhouette?
a shadow of a snake. So I say to him, I think there's a snake. He says, I think there is.
Yeah.
But it wasn't moving. But we watched it because we thought maybe it was asleep.
How long did you watch it for?
For about 40 minutes.
Right.
And you were too scared to, like, try and sneak out the front way and run?
Well, we did come up with a plan.
Oh, OK.
Which was one of us was going to hit it and knock it away from the tent.
Yeah.
And then it would fly away and then we'd dash out the tent.
Hit it with your bare hand?
I think it was a pillow, actually.
You took pillows camping?
Glamping.
Don't you? So one of us hit it.
Yeah, with the pillow?
And the snake flew up in the air and then landed right back down on top of the tent.
When it's settled and it's still again, you now know it's definitely not a live snake.
No, we think it may have been stunned.
Which one of you hit it?
I'd be lying if I said I remembered. Probably John. Who did
Probably
it.
John. Probably John. I mean, it's not easy to remember blood relatives, is it?
So what happens next?
We decided one of us had to dash out of the tent
Yeah.
and then see what the situation was.
And who did that?
And John very bravely said he would do it. So quietly we got out of our sleeping bags. And to get him a quick exit, I helped open the flap and he jumped out. And then he turned around and he went, "You won't believe this. It's a rope."
OK.
Mark, you seem to find a potentially life-threatening situation rather amusing.
Where did this... Can I ask, Stephen, where did this rope come from?
It was on the tent. It was just a rope on the tent.
Ropes on tents are really thin. They're not like...
Very
they've
thin
not got
snake.
the girth of a snake.
It wasn't a snake like that.
No, it was a piece of rope like that. How could you think that? The most you can figure of is a worm.
Yeah, but also, you've got to remember...
There's a worm! Quick, get my pillow!
It's also early morning, so the sun is just coming up, casting
Snakes
a
are
long
lot thinner
shadow.
in the morning, aren't they? It was early morning, they fatten up during the day. That's a little thin bit of rope. That's nothing like a snake. Unless you'd have said the shadow had somehow made it look
That's what I'm
bigger.
saying, it's early
You didn't
morning.
say that!
It's early morning,
He
the
did
sun
say-
is low. I said that.
He did say that,
Made it
although
look... I mean...
sometimes Lee doesn't totally listen to everything other people say.
It is true. That is a fair point.
OK, now, what about David?
David. So remind us again, David.
Oh, I can't remember. I was the only person to turn up at John's neighbourhood watch meeting and then gave up and watched an episode of Knight Rider.
How well do you know your neighbour?
Not very well, but a bit. There'd been little... a sort of photocopied note had gone round about this meeting.
A photocopied note. It's email these days.
Yeah, but how do you know each other's emails before you start Neighbourhood Watch?
Well, they've started. The party's in it.
No, but this is before this. This is the first meeting,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
the first meeting.
Oh, I do apologise. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, I must apologise about Rob. Sometimes he doesn't listen.
And anyway, so between me and my wife, we decided that one of us should go. And we thought that,
And she thought it should be you.
And it turned out I thought that too.
And it started off by you were drawing a map.
And then, well,
Map of
yeah,
the
well then...
streets.
Why were you
drawing a map of the street?
Just because John wanted to explain the area he thought this neighbourhood watch group should cover.
How many houses away do you live from him?
He's, I think, next door but 4.
Next door but 4. So let's say 5 houses away. Because that's a very weird way to describe. I've never heard anyone say he lives next door but 4. It just somehow doesn't work. Next door but 1 is the limit to how much you can use. You can't just keep adding numbers on.
Go for it. I'm going for it. I'm going next door but 40,000. That's where the Queen lives.
Was Knight Rider on telly or did he have it on a DVD?
He had it on a DVD.
So I'm a massive fan of Knight Rider. I've got all of them. Which one was this?
Which what?
Which episode? You know what? You understand the question.
I don't remember the title of the episode.
No, but what happened?
What happened in the episode? I'd be interested to hear
Well,
this.
Michael Knight
Settle down, because this will be very interesting.
is driving along.
Michael Knight, that's a good start, Michael Knight.
As I remember, he's driving along and he in kit,
Right.
and he's driving absolutely on the speed limit, but not above the speed
Even
limit.
in your anecdotes, health and safety is important.
It's important to the plot.
Yes.
He's driving it, and it says on Kit's digital dial 55 miles an hour, which is the speed limit in America. And the police pull him over. It turns out that he is driving over the speed limit, but there's something wrong with Kit. He's all askew.
Hang on, I'm just trying to remember the episode of Knight Rider where the story was about the speedometer being slightly broken.
That's a coincidence, because I'm trying to do the same thing.
All right.
Wow.
We need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is John Sheila's helpless hiccuper, Stephen's cowardly companion, or David's night-riding neighbour? What do you think, Mark?
It seems to me you can drive a bus through the holes in all 3 of them. I don't know. Stephen's snake. He had me until the pillow.
Yeah. I just don't think David, even though he's a really nice man, I just don't think he'd have the patience.
I'll have to pull you up on that.
Does anyone anyone else would just be like, why don't we just go down the pub, mate?
No, not David.
Not David, no.
David's never ended a sentence with mate.
Mate. OK, fine. Fair enough.
Except when playing chess.
Even for you, David, that was quite middle class.
Fair enough, you've won, mate.
And what about Sheila, the fringe theatre with the hiccups?
If I had the hiccups for 2 or 3 minutes, I would leave.
Yeah.
It's very difficult in those sort of theatres to get out.
Yeah.
They were trapped.
They were trapped.
Well, but that's a fire and safety nightmare.
I'm just...
Right, who's it going to be?
I think it's Sheila. What do you think?
David.
Do you think
Yeah,
it's David?
I mean, possibly.
I think it's Stephen.
Lima, make a decision. Be a captain.
Right, my decision is definite and it's clear, and I'm not going back on it. Anita, you are deciding.
Oh, God. I originally thought Sheila, but I'm going to go with Stephen.
You're going to go with Stephen.
Yeah.
Stephen,
What are you
do you
doing,
think?
Mark?
Stephen!
Stephen.
Stephen.
We're going to say
You're
Stephen.
all saying it's Stephen.
I don't know why.
John, would you please reveal your true identity?
Hi, I'm John, and Stephen and I hid from a police and road.
Yes, John is Stephen's cowardly companion. Thank you very much, John. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
Oh. Says possession.
Right, under the desk is a box. If you bring the box onto the desk. Now, read the card first and then show us the possession.
I recently took a crash course in taxidermy, by the end of which I've managed to make this.
Please show us what this is. Pop it onto the desk. David's team, where would you like to begin?
What is it? I can't see
Can we have a proper
Hold
look?
it up.
That, Sheila, is what I call mouse on a skateboard.
Would you like me to take it across?
Please do.
What's it made of?
Made of mouse. With a little bit of skateboard.
Oh, no! Oh,
How was he killed? He looks like he was...
I should point out that he wasn't killed. He was found dead naturally.
It's like he was found walking down a very small alley.
Careful, took ages.
OK, first of all, how long was this course?
This is the first course. The course is well, it takes place over about 16 weeks, so 4 months.
A crash course that's...
Taxidermy takes years to perfect. This is a crash.
And how often did you go?
It happens every week
Once a week.
for 16 weeks.
That's not a crash course. That's
is.
an evening class.
No, not in relation to the proper course to become a professional taxidermist.
Well, that goes on
takes
for 25
4
years and you meet once every 6 months?
That takes 4 years, or until the animal dies.
can you... How did you do that mouse?
Basically, I found a mouse.
Where?
There on the stair. And it had little clogs on. I found the mouse actually in the cage which it was kept in because it was my child's pet.
And it was skateboarding.
No, he wasn't skateboarding. My son was a skateboarder, and that's why he wanted the mouse on the skateboard.
What did you do with the mouse that you found?
Well, the first thing I did was I had to break the news to my son, and I said, "Your mouse is dead." So that was that covered. And then he said, "Oh, I don't want to lose him forever." And I said, "In that case, it's the crash course at the taxidermy."
So wait a minute, the mouse dies. You have a
Correct.
conversation with your son. What are we going to do? Let's stuff him. I know, I'll learn. I won't get a professional animal stuffer.
And that's because...
I'll learn to do it. You ring up the course, they say there happens to be a 16-week course starting next week.
How many people were on the course?
I would say there was 12, 14, something like that.
12.
There was 12.
12.
12, yes. Sorry, no, it was a disciples' convention.
Talk me through them. What sort of people were they?
There was Matthew, Mark, Luke... Oh, sorry, there was a guy called Thomas. He wasn't sure if he wanted to be there.
Tell us what you do.
The first thing you've got to do is always check that the mouse is actually dead.
So, sorry, it's always a... It's
Always
always a mouse. This course is just for mouse stuffers. No one had anything else they were to do. So everyone, all 12 of you turn up, sit down, get your mouse out.
You've got to remember that it's an introductory course. There was one guy, just one guy, Brian.
A good entry
turned up
level
with a giraffe. He turned up with a giraffe and you went, you want the advanced course, mate, because we can't do this in 16 weeks. Next door, the one that's got the, the Velux windows. You can only stuff a giraffe if you've got Velux windows. That's the first thing you learn.
What did you scoop the inside out?
Thank you. There's someone finally interested in the art form. First thing you've got to do is get rid of the inside of the mouse.
How?
How do you do that?
How? Good question, sure. You get a sharp blade and you make an incision from the back of the skull all the way down to the tail.
So what happens when you make that incision down the spine?
Down the spine, yeah.
What happens?
So now I can only be described as a very, very horrific pop-up book. Because I opened it up like that. And it's not a pretty sight. I would describe it as sort of mouse spine-like. All like that. And the fella said, first rule of get stuffed, taxidermy, crash course. He said, this is the interesting bit. He went, it's never, ever open them from the back. I learned a lesson. You've got to learn, haven't you? You've got to learn. You've got to learn.
So what did you do?
Well, I really got me needle and thread.
So you stitched the mouse back up?
Stitch the mouse back up,
right.
Get him back to how he was.
Right.
Turn him over, slice down the middle.
And then what did you do?
You have to, effectively, there's no easy way of saying it, I had to scrape out his insides.
With what?
With the tools that they give you.
What sort of tool is it?
Well, there's many, many tools. You know those weird things you get when you're trying to get the last bit of lobster out of the claw? Then it's like a little fork. It's got
It wouldn't work with a giraffe, though,
Oh,
would
no,
it?
just a giraffe. All you need for a giraffe is a spade and loads of bamboo.
OK, so you scoop out...
We learned that on day 4.
What do you put back in to give him that healthy...
You build individual fragments of bone shapes, but out of metal, and glue them all together. It takes 15 weeks on a Thursday night.
What do you think, David? It sounds very plausible to me, but what is your team think?
Sheila, what do you think?
No, I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
I can't see why anyone wouldn't believe that.
I don't think there's any level on which any of us believe that.
They're saying it's a lie. Lee,
Yeah.
is it the truth or is it a lie?
Oh, I actually have to go through the thing of pressing the button. Lie.
Well, that noise signal's time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that Lee's team have won by 2 points to 1. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.